Welcome back to Girls Run These Worlds. Thank you for joining us. Tonight is our second episode of the Claws of Kausvena limited series. And before we get started, just a couple of introductions slash sort of announcements. Before we get to the intros, though, I do want to pass on the gesture that was given to me, in which someone mentioned that mine would be the next show. So the next show, which is tomorrow, is Harsh Realms, a Kids on Bikes horror game, and that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST. So make sure to check that out if you get a chance. But as for introductions, I'm the DM for this. My name is Fuzka, and you can find me on Twitch at Fuzka, thankfully, as well as on Twitter at FuzkaD&D. And I'm going to pass it off to my brother because he's next on the lineup. So, Nenners, if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm Nenners. My voice mine's on. A goblin, clearly. Hopefully survive this episode too. And I will pass it over to Kami. Well, that's your character, but...
Ooh, that's me.
Anita.
Hey, everybody. Anita is here. As was stated, I'm playing Kami, the UNT druid. Feeling good tonight. Let's roll some dice. I will pass it off to our favorite pink-haired witch. Take it away, Mocha.
Hello. I'm Mocha. I am playing Chrysanthemum, the Eladrin witch. What that entails, I don't know. We'll find out. I will pass it off to Kristen.
Oh, hey, I'm Kristen House. I play Zosha, our neurodivergent tiefling wizard, and you can find me here on Twitch at Kristen House or on Twitter, Kristen_House, that's where I say what I'm up to. And then, last but certainly not least...
Hey, I'm Lynn. Catch me wearing Gremlin art. Shive, and I am playing Lanitana, they, them, the Twilight Cleric. Kalister Twilight Cleric.
Very cool. So just one more tiny little announcement before we get started. I run Inspiration a little bit differently, and this is also a reminder to the players that Lanitana, you hold the Inspiration die for tonight. It does expire at the end of the night, so whenever you choose to use it, you just let me know, and then you roll your d20. But all that out of the way, we are picking up with our 5 adventurers who have been accosted by various crystals in a plea for help from what can only be assumed to be a deity of some kind. A fight is happening on planes that they are not on, but nonetheless, they've all been called to help. Lanitana sort of acting as the liaison between the entity that asked for help, found out that they need to cleanse the forest. They're not entirely sure how to do that, and they haven't quite gotten direction on it, but so far they know something is wrong. And the first thing they found was the corpse of a Malorite cultist of some kind. So, knowing that this deity is one who prizes the hunt too much, it could explain why there aren't a lot of animals around here, and why the wildlife and the flora has started to diminish. But with that information and a giant crystal that sort of communicated with you before disappearing into the night sky, we find our adventurers likely trying to find out what they have to do next or where they might want to go. So I open the floor to you guys. After having this information come through the crystal, you are free to do whatever you would like.
So, if I recall correctly, it was starting to turn to night, right?
Turn to morning.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was late night as this was happening. I believe you have a little less than an hour at this point before sunrise.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I totally thought it was before then. Okay.
Sure.
Let me just refresh myself on.
Sure.
Zosha's gonna turn to Kami. So, Simon couldn't find anything up there.
No, it seems not. However, Simon isn't the best at seeing things at night. I feel like there is civilization around here somewhere. Otherwise, where that Malorite have come from. If we look around for long enough, I think we can find some place to get a little bit of an update about what's happening around us.
Well, if you mean looking around by if by looking around you mean going all the way out to the road, then yes, you will find civilization, but otherwise the only civilization is going to be very, very small villages, if that, if not just groups of these hunters? Malorites? These woods are... No one wants to go in these woods, which is why the trade routes have forked around entirely around it. You will only find towns on one side or the other. You're not going to find anything inside here. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Well, I mean, maybe a small encampment is a way to start, though.
Oh, of course. Just don't expect a town, is what I'm saying.
You seem to know a lot about like trade routes and all of that.
Well, yes, because I'm a tradeswoman.
In any sort of specialty?
Potions, mainly, but I will also trade any spare parts or materials and whatnot that I can find that I don't necessarily need, or I find I might be able to trade for something better.
That's really cool.
Thank you. It is quite cool.
I mean, I'm glad you like your job. That's important.
It would be cooler if I could get the parts that I wanted. And that are very helpful for things like, spider antitoxin. But we can't have everything.
Zosha just like brings her notebook up, just like writes down this new information, but is clearly like, I don't know what spider you're talking about.
You said it's about an hour to sunrise, right?
Yes.
Well, seeing as we can, for the most part, all see in the dark, do we want to try hunting down wherever this person came from? And she motions off in the general direction that they released the corpse onto for the spider to have a meal.
Yeah, which is not very far away. As you guys, when you walked to this crystal, it was maybe like 200 or so feet. So it's not as though you travel too far from that space.
Yeah, I think Kami is going to sort of pipe up and say, yeah, I think that would be a good idea. However, it seems as though we are in a bit of a dangerous situation here. And whenever I find myself in a little bit of a dangerous situation, I like to start the day with a little bit of a meditation. Very much helps prepare for the day. If it seems as though we are going to be traveling together for a little while. And since you are now my tribe, in a sense, you all are free to join me if you would like. And if we are all okay with taking 10 minutes to have a little breathing time. Yeah?
Sure,
Oh.
do what we will.
Oh, that would be absolutely perfect.
Fantastic.
We have to do our sunrise prayer anyways.
While they do that, Chrysanthemum will be sitting a little off to the side, just examining the darts that she got.
Mhm.
I don't think I'll be able to do anything very thorough in like 10 minutes, but just like a rudimentary glance over them until later when we have like a shorter long rest where I can really sit down and like bring out my cauldron and poisoner's kit to really like, all right,
Figure out what they do.
how did you do this to these darts kind of thing. But
Sure.
I'm working on
For
it.
now, you can give me probably a medicine check if you want to kind of deduce what you can from it.
Sure. 26.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Roll. What a good
Not
start.
This is right in my girl's wheelhouse.
It really is. Like, yo, I did awesome right now. You can't tell exactly what animal it's from, but you are quite sure that, strangely enough, this is likely some kind of animal saliva that has allowed it to stick and just not quite evaporate. And obviously they must have mixed it with some sort of toxin, and that you're not sure either. But just looking at the consistency and even kind of like getting a whiff every so often, you're like, that's an animal's mouth of some kind. Can't tell exactly. But with a little more time and your tools, you would absolutely be able to figure out the rest.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
You go
All
ahead.
right.
Go for it.
Pluck isn't one for meditation, so he's just gonna kind of keep a slow perimeter. They were basically almost ambushed by a giant spider before, so he's gonna try to avoid that.
Okay. You can give me a perception check as you do that. Please and thank you. Okay. Oh my god, you have a -1. That was a good roll. But we'll say you're keeping an eye out while this 10-minute meditation is happening.
So anybody that is listening, I think Kami is gonna be like, okay, this is a really stressful place. We're strangers and now we have to like band together to survive. Let's take deep breaths, name 5 things we can see, 4 things we can touch, 3 things we can smell, etc. Grounding stuff, leading a deep breathing exercise. And anybody that's like looking for magical stuff, there are like little like bits of druidic and sylvan like etched into like the words, and there's just like the faintest shimmer of magic happening as Kami uses the inspiring leader feat and gives anybody that's listening 9 temporary hit points for the day, which can include familiars and Simon. If people think their pets were listening to the conversation. But yeah, like very like it's a very, very soothing, and like we're in a very strange place, but like even like just listening from like off in the distance doing something else, you like get the sense that like, oh wow, Kami's probably a very good yoga instructor, like or like something like that, like nature. But yeah, like the meditation ends, like we take a deep breath and Kami's like, Okay, that feels a little bit better. How are you all doing?
Wonderful.
Much
Thank-
better.
Thank you for sharing that. I would like to share something with you, if you wouldn't mind. And
Oh,
Lanitana will snuff out the violet candle they have and will look. What drives you to go on, thrive, survive the day?
that is an intense question first thing in the morning. But okay. I think I really enjoy learning, traveling with the people that I choose. Zosha, Simon. I enjoy my life just for what it is. And I think that helps me get up in the morning.
That is an excellent answer.
Why do you ask?
Oh, we believe that saying that out loud will guide us through adversity, whatever comes, whatever nightmares appear. And that is a wonderful one, and I have a feeling that it may guide you today through the sun. And they will get up, put the candle in their satchel, and stretch. So, Laitana gave you the Vigilant Blessing, which gives you advantage on next initiative roll.
Ooh. That will be helpful. I have bad an
Yeah.
Okay. I'll mark that down.
Yeah. Everyone helping each other out so early on. But Plek, as you're walking around, and you did get the inspiring leader speech, and I imagine you weren't too far away to not get that. So you, of course, have your 9 temporary hit points from that. But just taking a look around, and with your perception, which you're on high alert right now, and that's why I think it makes sense that you got that such a nice roll as well. And mostly you're kind of keeping an eye out for, again, a spider snuck up on you, and there's a lot of webs in these trees. But thankfully, you don't see any other spiders or even the same one anymore. But you are just kind of keeping an eye out. And you think you hear the murmurs of whispering voices on the wind. It is so very faint, though. Like, you only catch it between the words of your friends whenever silence hits you just for a few seconds, and you think you catch something. And interestingly enough, you seem to understand what the words are, but you're sure your companions probably wouldn't. You're fairly certain you heard someone speak in Goblin.
That's alarming. Does he get a vague direction of where it's coming from?
Yes. You guys sort of went northeast to that sort of crystal that you were at.
Yep.
This seems to be coming directly north.
Okay. Gonna think for a moment, and there's a little bit of a conundrum in his mind because, like, you know, the go-to tracker is probably the druid, but he also noticed some very, very thick glasses on said druid. But he'll reach out anyway. And then Kami, you hear in his mind, like, my fellow goblins are nearby. Probably not friendly, I would assume. I hear voices on the wind northbound.
That is incredible. Can everybody just do that mind talking thing? I have never seen this magic before. I'm sorry. Your kinfolk. And starts thinking back. That is good. Yes?
No, probably not.
You said, oh, you were not on good terms with your family.
I don't think it's my family, just more I hear my language on the wind. It's definitely not, well, most likely no one I'm related to. If you don't mind, I assume there's no dialect that I'm picking up. It's just regular goblin.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like West Virginian goblins or something I need to worry about.
It's Southern twang goblin.
Okay, got it. Understood. Thank you. But yeah, he'll just kind of infer that they're not his. Yeah, they're not my tribe, and even if they were, it'd still be bad.
That's that Appalachian goblin. You don't want to smoke with them. Like, I'm from Southside. We don't play with them. Oh god. Okay. I think Kami will sort of get up and I guess like defer to Plek and like be like, do we want to follow them? See if like we can see if they're like in a civilization that we want to like go and check out and get an update on. Do we want to avoid them completely? Do we want to sneakily like try to get up on them and listen into what they're saying? Like, you probably have like, it seems like you have like an opinion about what we should do here.
Given our small party, avoidance is probably prudent. Unless, I don't know, you think I'd avoid, definitely avoid. Yeah, I figured if anyone could be made aware of them, it'd be you.
Oh. Why? Why me? Specifically.
You have a relationship with nature, yes?
Yeah. That I do. That is my the source of my magic. So I will do my best to listen to the earth and avoid any groups of goblins in particular while we travel.
Appreciate it. And he's just gonna kind of keep an eye northward and just try to hone in if he hears like twigs snapping, bows being drawn, anything like that. He's high alert. But shielded spear out, just kind of ready for getting jumped, essentially.
Okay. For the rest of you, this was a very entertaining moment as Kami was looking in the general direction of Plek, and he was looking in the general direction of her as well, and no words were shared, but there seemed to be sort of like head nods, and then the goblin turns around and takes his weapons out, and not a word was said out loud. But that's more
Absolutely
or less
normal.
the scene that... Yeah, totally fine. Actually, it's probably Lanitana who's like, I very much understand. A full conversation's going on, whereas it might be a little bit strange for the others. But not that you'll get your answer immediately. It'll give you a moment for you guys to kind of chat a little bit. But being on guard, you can give me another perception check and advantage as you focus in this particular direction.
Oh, no.
Zosha, seeing that happen, will kind of speak up and be like, What's Hey, Plek, why do you look so aggressive?
Oh no!
Well, Plek also doesn't know why he looks so aggressive. So.
I want to play that like you yelling, like throws him off. Like he's like, all right,
You know
hey,
what?
Blake, what?
Play it. Yep, play it that way. Do it.
Like, kind of the gig is more or less up, but you're here in your mind. Goblin voices on the wind, not friendly, most likely. Didn't want to alert them. Didn't want them to know that we know that they're here.
And then I can respond in your brain, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Why wouldn't? I mean, maybe it's worth checking out. They might be friendly. I mean, compared to that really terrifying person we found dead, goblins kind of sound nice. You're a goblin. No. You're nice.
There's like a moment of just pause as he's trying to collect his thoughts, but it's a lot going on. But I can guarantee you they are not nice. I don't travel with my tribe for a reason. Mainly because they're undisciplined louts. But outside of that, we need to just be made aware, and I didn't want to give up our element of surprise, if it, as it were.
Right, time to look. Can I roll perception?
Yeah. Yeah, you saw what direction he was looking in.
Oh no.
She's
It's rough out
squinting.
here. Which is the greatest because like the light's coming back up, but you're still like just you don't hear or see anything.
I think you might be missing the mark on this one, Fleck.
Yeah. And as that psychic conversation is happening, Kami's gonna let like the other two know what's going on, since all of this information, like there are goblins around, like where we should be on high alert because Fleck is on high alert, and seems untrusting of goblins in this area specifically. And maybe has some family issues that have gone unresolved. So today.
So we avoid
and that's
them.
like what complicates. Basically, yeah.
So with both Plek and Zosha looking in the same direction and not quite able to find or really hear anything, as you guys are sort of having a moment to yourselves, but also being a little more wary now that this information has come out, Plek and Zosha, you guys do hear a twig snap. But by the time you go to look, you can very clearly make out a goblin about 70 or so feet away from you.
We've been made!
The form is small, as expected. The ears kind of point out from whatever kind of hood they fashioned out of some kind of fabric. The light's coming up, so you're getting vague details, but it's still at such a dramatic angle that the shadows are still hiding some parts. But what you can absolutely make out is what seems to be a spear that it's holding with both hands. And as it approaches from that distance, still seems to kind of have it at the ready. You don't hear any chattering or any voice of any kind, but it stops about 70 feet away from you. Spear still out and just sort of staring at you and slowly advancing.
Can we all see this, or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll say, well, at the moment, just Plek and Zosha
right.
see it. But obviously they can say something and the rest of you can look in that direction and see it.
First thing that Zosha will do automatically is cast Comprehend Languages for herself, since she doesn't have time to do it as a ritual now. Just so she can understand anything that might be said. But then she'll look at Fleck and go, I don't know, buddy, this is your realm of expertise.
Let the group know he's going to advance about 10 feet and just kind of make his presence known. And
Zosha will relay to everyone else, like, hey, we've got a new friend. And we'll, like, point.
He's not our friend.
I think when you say it, I think Tana's going to telepathically say to the goblin, "Hello, friend," and just like wave.
Every stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
It's very positive. But Lanitana, is there a limit on your telepathic?
Oh wait, let me see.
Distance? I can't recall. I know there's different ones for like everything, so I'm just trying to make sure I don't.
No.
It's just. Blah. Okay, awesome.
Oh, it's 10 times my level, so it's like, yeah, it's.
Oh, geez.
50
so
feet. Yeah.
50 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is out of your range.
All right, I'll wave.
You can close the gap if you want.
Oh no,
Okay.
I'll just wave. I'll wave at the goblin.
Okay, sounds good. And Kleck, you said you advanced a little bit, about 10 feet. What were you saying?
I was telling him to stop and like immediately looking for any other. He knows ambush tactics, especially of his kin, so he's looking for the who's behind me? Where is this other angle coming? This is clearly the mark, if you will, coming out to bait us. So he's just trying to get him to stop and then figure out where the other side of this attack might be coming from.
Got it. You can roll your perception at advantage. I'm going to be moving us to a new map. Everybody place yourselves where you think you are. I kind of put you where roughly you are in comparison to not only the goblin, but also your friend here. So feel free to move yourselves once I get you over.
Okay, yep. All right.
And
Chrysanthemum will look at... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say Chrysanthemum will look at Zoisha and Lanitana and say, you did hear me when I said there's a reason people avoid the forest and they built roads around it, right?
Yep.
Well, I actually may be understanding the hidden meaning under that sentence now, so you could have just said it's deadly.
I did say that.
Oh. Well, this is a stressful situation now.
She will see Plek kind of glancing around and look and readying himself, and she will also kind of pull herself oh. There goes that target.
Moving around.
Into the behind a tree, kind of into the brush to both conceal herself a bit more, but also peer into the woods out in this direction.
Gotcha. All right. You can go ahead and roll me a perception check as well. Zosha, I see you moving. Is there anything you wanted to do?
Yeah, I had to readjust where I thought I was anyway, but based on that, yes, Zosha would look out in this, in the opposite direction, to see, what's going on. So I'll do perception.
Go for it.
Hopefully it's better than last time.
I will let everybody know what's going on as it all happens, but I do want to make sure I get to everybody. So, Lanitana, is there anything you specifically want to do at this moment?
They're gonna talk to Plek. Something wrong.
Yeah, my kid is not known for making friends, especially not with weapons drawn. So we likely have an incoming attack.
Oh.
And they wouldn't approach one of us. One of them wouldn't approach 5, 6 of us. If you want to count the snake.
Okay. I'll look. I'll also We'll kind of like look around.
All right. Perception checks all around.
Yeah.
And then Kami, what are you up to?
Kami doesn't like to fight. Kami is not a fighter. I think Kami's like hanging back with I think Kami is hanging back with Simon. And I think that I think that like whenever like Kami's been going anywhere, like she's had one hand on the side of Simon's head. But like as it seems like stuff is about to pop off, like Kami will be like, it might get a little dangerous here, Simon. I'll pop back in. And the giant like serpent becomes a staff once more.
Okay.
And I think that she's gonna like try to stand, look around, and just like smile and like give off a friendly aura. Like these are people that can talk. They would probably want to talk more than they would want to hurt and be hurt. So it's trying to like give off an aura of friendship, just like hunched back, staff, like big smile.
Okay. That's
And
kind of adorable.
hopefully they get the message.
Got it. All right. So as everyone's kind of breaking off and doing this, as you guys have time to do this, as the goblin was kind of slowly approaching as well. But as Plek calls out and says halt, only you and Zosha, as she cast her comprehend languages, can understand what the response was, essentially. But the goblin sort of leaning and stopping at the moment just to kind of seemingly get a head count. You see its head dart in everyone's direction. But it focuses on Plek, and then Plek and Zosha, you hear, you hungry too? How long have you been here?
Just got here, actually. And no, I'm not hungry yet.
Okay. These your friends?
Pauses for a moment. Yes.
Plek!
We just
Zosha's standing there, unable to respond in Goblin, but looks at Plek and is like, Plek!
There's a little bit of like, he's like, okay, I've got potentially an enemy behind me. I just met these people, like one in front, one behind. I'm like, oh, this could be bad.
You're about to have 4 other enemies.
Yup.
He's
and you see its head tilt slowly a little bit and give you one chance. Give us all the food you have, and then leave. Or fight.
He turns to the group. They want all our food, or we fight them. He'll put his head. Just a moment, if you don't mind. In like
as soon as
oddly
you
posh
sigh,
goblin.
you watch the spear go up a little.
Zosha's gonna keep watching the goblin with the spear, by the way, since Plek has decided to be very cash about this all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Did I notice? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just about to tell you what you see with your natural 20 as all this is happening. You're focusing kind of in that direction, especially after hearing, goblins like to ambush people a lot, and we should be making sure we're keeping track of every direction. And as he's conversing, you probably wouldn't have heard it, but you saw it. Just a little bit of shadow moving, probably like 20 feet away from you. And then as you catch, you make direct eye contact with another goblin who's just crouched, and you see a short bow pointed in your direction. But it is not firing at this moment.
I will just stare at it dead in the. You know what? Oh, actually, oh, right, because I still haven't like said that she still has her skull mask on, so he can actually
That's
see her
awesome.
eyes. He just
Uh-huh.
the goblin just sees like this mask, like the way masks do, where like it absolutely looks like it's looking at you, and she is, but it's in
Mhm.
that creepy way where it's like the eyes are shaded, and so you can't quite make them out. But she will just put a hand on her sickle, and I know Biggles.
I will also mention, as you're making that eye contact and sort of adjusting and like, okay, there's something here. And my cat is climbing behind me. We'll see if he makes a mess of things. But as you're focusing on that with your natural 20 for 23 perception together, all total, you feel the slightest tremor under your feet. And considering what had happened to everybody not too long ago, where large crystals had fallen out of the sky, a part of you is like, maybe it's that again. But they seem to be in step instead. Something very large has not been seen yet, but you can feel it.
I'm going to command Pickles, as it is today, to climb up the tree, rush up the next, or like, I imagine because he's at my feet, he might not have been spotted quite yet, so I'll have him kind of like, if we'll say the goblin's like whatever out here, right? I'll have him climb this side of the tree to try and get like
Right, keep
a
the
higher
body
view,
between.
like down the road,
Okay.
or just like through the trees to try and like scope out if there's anything taller that's coming. But she will turn, or she's going to turn her head, but keep eyes on the goblin, as she will respond to like what Plex said. So there's one over here, and there's also something else out there that's probably kind of big. I also worked very hard for this food, and I kind of need it. We could just give them a little and say that's all we have, and we're scrounging too.
I think that when Kami like heard they're gonna fight us unless we give them food, I think Kami's gonna like start walking up like next to Black and just say, "Oh, well, why didn't you just say so?" And we'll take out the berries that she conjured like a little bit ago that very few people took, and just say, "Of course, we can share our food on one condition. You sit and have breakfast with us." I'm not sure if they understand common, but is trying to like be winning and persuasive, and try to get them sit down and have a meal with us.
Gotcha. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check, and then as if you were going to say something, you have a moment.
I will give my inspiration to that.
You can also add it after. It doesn't. You don't need to call it before. It's entirely up to you. You can if you want, but I'm letting you know. You can see the number and then choose.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh boy. Okay. 4. Sorry, we still getting used to roll 20. We got
all right. Don't worry about it.
Persuasion.
Yes, persuasion. Oh my goodness. Doesn't
Okay,
look
maybe
like
not. Okay, that's
it
pretty
was
good.
needed. Pretty great. you're holding out these berries, and with the sunlight that's starting to come up, they seem to just hit them at the right angle and make them sparkle just a little bit, and you look just magical and dewy in this beautiful sunlight that's coming up. And like this goblin's spear was raised, and you see it slowly start to lower. And then you watch its head turn to the side, not addressing you anymore, but start rattling off a little bit of goblin. And Zosha, where are you? Oh, no, you're still pretty close. Okay, so Zosha and Plek, you can probably catch like little bits of it, but it sounds like it's describing exactly what's happening. And the words you hear are snake, woman, food, tiny berries. Tiny berries. That's like mostly what you hear. You don't hear a response, but those are the words that you catch before it turns and looks back at you. And in sort of broken common, you get the response of, too small, too small, too little. Big food. Oh, you're muted, Lynn, if you're going to say something.
It's like, no, those are good. Those are...
Yeah, I think that so this is in common, yeah?
Yeah, the broken common that you got back, yes.
She'll clarify that they're magic berries. And also that, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I have, like, a bunch of rations. Let me see, how many rations do I have? Do I have any rations at all? I gotta look that up. Oh, I have 10 rations. Yeah, like, I don't know how big this group is, but, like, I got 10 rations. Like, I'll pull out, like, I'll pull out, like, 5 of those as well, and sort of say, I'm not sure how many of your friends there are, but we would love to have a meal with you. Talk. We are strangers in this land, and we would like some information. If you would be willing to share, we would be willing to share.
I'm not actually willing to share, and I don't really want to sit down and eat with them.
Oh. Then Simon and I, and anyone else that would like to, would be happy to share a meal.
You just like, sorry, go ahead.
No, you please. My question's after.
Okay, you see a very quizzical stare, just layers of confusion, and part of you is like, all right, he speaks broken common, so there's probably a slight language barrier in the words that you're choosing, but at the same time, they probably never met someone who was just willing to be like, let's sit and have some food, and you could just see all of those layers of like, food, but nice, but don't know. I don't understand what's happening. But you see the goblin take another like few steps towards you, probably like closing in another 5 or 10 feet. Spear still in hand, but it's lowered slightly. Food. Ground.
Try 1 berry for free. The rest cost 1 breakfast. We'll put 1 berry on the ground.
In which case you see like almost Ewok like movements, trying to like air poke you away with its spear, like telling you to back up and just away.
Yeah,
away.
I'll get some space.
And the rest of you watch as a goblin slowly approaches. And the way it does, it seems to kind of be leaning towards the Plek side of the group, rather than kind of coming straight. It sort of like wings a little bit on the outside, coming towards him a little. But as it gets closer, you guys are starting to see goblins aren't exactly known for their strength and size, but this one is very thin, very close to emaciated. You can see why it was demanding food. And even some of the little things that are kind of like jangling on its belt, you're almost expecting those bones or those body parts that you saw on the Malorite cultist, but instead they just seem to be kind of little stupid trinkets that the goblin has either collected off of other bodies of some kind, or tools for foraging, or even, harvesting a kill of some kind. But it gets closer, probably about that close, and it stares at the one berry on the ground. Back up. Away. He just tries to get all of you to back up a little bit more.
Plek holds his ground. It's just stubbornly staring at him.
And the goblin stares back. And then Goblin, you hear, "You're big. What are you doing here?"
As I said, I just got here. Looking for someone's.
Come with us.
He looks at the emaciated goblin for a moment. No, I don't think I will.
Fleck was our friend first.
In which case, you see the goblin's spear kind of come back up, and it takes a step back.
The berry is really good.
You can have the
Berry is
berry. I'm
really
not going
good.
to hurt you. I'm not going to join you either.
I vouch for the berry.
Vouch for the berry.
And he'll put his spear up just to kind of show that he's not going to, not in a position to actively stab him.
And you see the goblin's eyes follow your spear. Shiny spear. And Goblin.
Don't even think about it.
You want information? Give us your spear.
He's gonna
And
see.
everybody
if he
else,
has-
you have seen Plek for a little bit of time. But while he does sport very nice armor, his spear is like softly glowing red at the blade at seemingly all times. It's not enough to sort of cast light, but it's enough to know like it is probably rare or unique in some way. And clearly it has caught this other goblin's attention.
We have other things we could trade, but this is not for barter or sale.
They give me one berry.
I tried. I hear it's pretty good.
But Kristen, if you were going to say something.
Yeah, can I do like a vibe check on so essentially like an insight check on this goblin to see just how like between being chill with us versus attacking us it might be.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Oh my goodness. Look at these 19s. You guys killing it. Yes, you are giving a vibe check on this goblin, trying to get an idea of what the hell is going on here. It honestly seems very conflicted to you. It looks like it was just ready to throw down, as if probably whatever food you had to offer was just going to be perks on top of killing you, most likely. But strangely enough, the berry kind of changed its mind, and it's still trying to find out what it wants to do right now. It is very much on the fence.
Okay. Got it. Noted.
But it stares at the berry still, and then takes another step closer, just staring at Plek. And Plek, the spear stays up, and it's kind of like the tip is aligned with where your chest would be, but he's not putting it against your chest. It's just sort of a good 5 feet away from you or so as he's there. But staring at the berry, you see him like reach his very skinny little leg over to kind of like kick it towards him and not like close the distance instead. But he just kind of rolls the berry back towards him and like keeps the spear up with one hand while reaching down with the other. Sort of like rubs all the dirt off of it and just pops it into his mouth. And goblins are like mostly teeth. So this berry, in the first bite, you immediately just see like purple and bluish goo coming down his lips. And as he's chewing, you see sort of like, this wasn't, oh, that's nice. Like, immediately a change from like, I don't like this to, this is all right, I can handle this. But it finishes and swallows and it's just kind of covered. Even though there was one berry, it ate it in the somehow most sloppy way it could possibly do. So, but looks up and for a second with its empty hand touches its belly. No, hungry.
More berries and breakfast.
Give us more berries. Points and spear at you again.
If you sit down with me for a meal.
Okay, go ahead and roll me another.
You and your friends. One more persuasion check. Let's do it. We got it. Right. And
you got this. Oh
No. Okay.
ooh.
That's a natural
Yeah.
2.
Okay. I will.
Okay.
Yep.
And just a reminder, the way inspiration works is when you roll, you add it to this roll. So no matter what, it'll go up.
Ooh. Oh boy. Okay.
And it's just a
D20.
D20, whatever that is. Yeah. Oh! It's a solid 10. Solid 10.
Very average.
Yeah. But the spear stays pointed at you. And it doesn't seem to kind of lower. At this moment, pardon me. I want to say Mocha, but I'm trying to remember your character's name, so pardon me. Chrysanthemum, that's what it was. Took a while, I got it. But Chrysanthemum, the one in the bush that you made direct eye contact with is still looking at you and still has that short bow drawn. Your cat, however, made it up to the top of the tree, kind of on the protective side as you were trying to keep it out of line of sight of that goblin, just to kind of get another look around. But can you give me a perception check with your cat, if you don't mind?
Yes. Let's see.
Oh,
that was I accidentally. Sorry, that didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
she
mean for
whispered
that
it.
to be- Oh, wait, hold on.
but
Can I? Oh no,
it's
I
very
can't
hot.
make it public. Sorry. Might be.
No, it's fine.
22.
It's a 22. Yeah, very nice roll.
It
But
also
as
has
you're,
you can smell if it smells anything big.
yep,
Can
the
you
first
smell
thing
flies?
you smell. Wait.
I don't need to
Let me
admit it.
know.
It's fine, but like, yeah.
No, yeah. I honestly, I think. Well, you can go ahead and roll one more time for advantage anyway. Let's just see if you get a little bit higher. Let's just see. Let's just see. It's fish for those nat 20s. All right, that's not
22.
better. That's all right. We're good. But the cat goes up, and through your link, you hear, I see 6 more bodies. One really big one. Hey, don't you have that recipe for that candle? There's an ogre over there. Think you could use his fat for a candle? You see his tail just kind of like flicking around while he's up in the tree.
That does track. I heard about that on the road. Nancy had her card overturned by a pack of goblins running around with an ogre before. 6. Is that including the one next to me? And this is in her head.
Yeah. Yes.
I should have. Sorry, one next to me and the one on the road. So it would be 4 extra.
Yeah.
And okay, sorry.
Then it clarifies that there's 6 extra, not including the one on the road.
Oh, and one of those extras is the goblin ahead, and then one of the extras an ogre.
Yes.
Okay. What? Good. Great. Good. Oh, I do want to make those candles smell so well. But she'll look out and kind of try to like whisper loudly.
Stage whisper.
Yes, she's gonna try to stage whisper to Lanitana because she's the closest. Plek and Kami currently have the goblin's attention, and she will stage whisper, "There's 6 more of them, and one of them is an ogre." talks seem to be going okay, but you might want to disseminate that information.
All right. Yeah, I think Liontown is going to just speak to Fleck. 6 more. And there's an ogre.
It's like his eyes are just darting all over, just trying to find the extra second, especially the ogre. Like, he's like, how the hell did they find an ogre?
In me swamp. Sorry.
Yeah.
She had that one ready to go.
You two seem to be making some headway. Hopefully this keeps going and we don't have to shed blood here.
Yeah. Like, you didn't give that message to Kami, right? Yeah, I think Kami's just upset that, like, the berry wasn't enough to get these strangers to have breakfast. And I think she's going to just, like, very well. And, like, take the rest of the berries that, like, the party didn't eat, and come over and, like, lay the rest on the ground, and just say, it is obvious that, you all need the food anyway. It is a shame that we could not, converse a little. I wish you well on your journey. And she'll back up again, like, to let them take the berries and hopefully go, since they want to have breakfast.
You do watch as the goblin kind of again leaves his foot forward and kind of like rolls the berries towards him, and so it's kind of like collecting them in his hands. He still has the spear out, kind of staring at each one of you. Go ahead.
Is Chrysanthemum within 120 feet of me, would you say?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I have
I'm within
no...
35 feet of you.
Yeah.
Great. I have my brain, math, numbers, absolutely.
Don't worry.
So then I will message Chrysanthemum and say, so what are you seeing over there? Just curious.
6 goblins, or 6 other bodies, presumably 5 goblins, and 1 is an ogre.
Do we want to fight them?
Okay, I have an interesting question, DM. Could I try and recall if I've heard about on the road or like talking with other like trading with other merchants and whatnot, about like how they've handled goblin or bands of goblins, especially ones led by beings like an ogre, how they've like fended. Basically, she's trying to get a feel of like, all right, she's trying to size up the situation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Could I roll some
What
sort
would
of...
I give you for that? Maybe like a history check. Although I will say it's relatively
risk
high,
she's doing
just
risk
because-
analysis.
Yeah. Yep.
right, exactly. Like, how fucked is this situation? Yeah, you can give me a history check just to kind of see what you've heard in your travels and what might have come up to kind of, because you have been traveling quite a bit, and like goblins aren't unusual, but this situation is a little
Especially
more
ones
unusual.
like attacking like merchants along the road
Right,
or
exactly.
ambushing.
Yeah, so you would have. Oh, very nice.
19
Yeah.
again.
I know, you guys, so many 19s, whether it's the number you roll or the number it adds up to, it's great. But, of course, you've heard of goblins bothering travelers. It's most of the time they really don't want to fight, because when it comes down to it, they're good at ambushing, for sure, but they're not very meaty. They don't have a lot of density or strength to them. On rare occasion, they might have a situation where they team up with a larger definitely not smarter companion.
Mhm.
And if you've heard that an ogre is in the area, that's likely what happened. And
Yeah.
perhaps because they are starving, and likely the ogre is starving, they banded together more out of necessity than anything else. And goblins are great at ambushes and not much else. So they likely position the ogre in a way that you guys can't see it.
Mhm.
Whereas the ogre would not have known to do that. It would have just run out there thinking it was not seen, but was
Yeah.
very obviously like visible. But you get all this information from your travels and you kind of recall it at the moment.
Yeah, so she'll relay that a bit. Given that the one on the road seems a bit emaciated, does the goblin? Can I see the goblin about 20 feet away from me enough to tell if it's emaciated as well?
You got a natural perception when you clocked that one, so I'll say, yeah, it seems slimmer as well.
Yeah.
Probably not as bad as the one on the road, but it is definitely
Yeah.
skinnier than it should be.
The goblins themselves, given that we're aware that they're ambushing us, so we can potentially be on better airs for it, and they're not on their best day. We would be able to. I don't know if it's the best idea if we can avoid it, but we could probably manage.
Well, I mean, you missed out on your spider parts earlier, so like, are there parts here that would be good for you?
Oh
or-
yes, ogres are very.
I feel like I owe you a debt, so.
I mean, I don't deal in. It's tricky.
you're
I
more
don't
like
feel, I wouldn't
liquids and oozes and
Yes.
those sorts of things, not
Yes.
body parts. Yeah.
Depends on the creature, but yes, for the most part, I'm
Yeah.
talking about liquids after the creature has departed. Or not, if, an animal is willing to give it up. But anyways.
My insight showed that this goblin was really on the fence, but then Kami seemed to like really upset him with the notion of breakfast, so I'm not so sure what's gonna happen here, but if we want to start getting things moving and a shaking, I can try and scare him and rumble the ground a little bit.
I would keep that in mind, but perhaps just prepare yourself.
Got it.
Right. You know what? I think, okay.
As this is happening, I am going to mention you are hearing some more rustlings coming your way. The goblin in front of you still looks a little antsy, still
Okay.
has all of the berries in its hand. And this is just for everybody, not necessarily just Mocha, just so you guys have an idea of what's going on. Because you guys are chatting, and it's just still tense and weird. And you're getting the idea that with the prolonged silence, they might be kind of advancing at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, word.
I'm going to cast
I feel like
invisibility on myself. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just feel like while this is going on, once the goblin has picked up the berries, I will say, well, this has been a very pleasant stick up, I guess. My name is Kami. Who do I have the pleasure of being robbed by today?
Some parts of those words are clearly not understood, as it's trying to hang on every single word it can understand. But after that, you hear,
What is your name? My name is Kami.
Kev check.
Yep, check.
Very suspicious looking stuff.
Is there anything else that you need?
Looks down at the berries in its one hand. Here for food. If don't have enough food, then leave.
And
You see it kind of
I
off
think
to the side a little bit.
yeah, I think that Kami's gonna say, well, I was going to have a big breakfast with this, but we'll reach into her pack and take out half of her rations, 5 of them, and like offer them. Not, it's just gonna like walk over, like right to them, and like hand them over, and say, here. It looks as though you need it, and as though you have others. Uh, looks off to where they were looking.
Yeah.
That also might need it.
Actually, oh wait, no, you have terrible. You can give me a perception check at disadvantage for using your eyes. And not that you're like taking the time to look, but just like at a glance, what you might catch.
And
Right.
as Zosha sees Kami talking more, can I just do another perception check as well, post Chrysanthemum conversation and all of that?
Right.
I'm waiting to roll decent perception, and...
Yeah, hit me. Go for it. Oh, there it is. It's another freaking 19. How many? This is an incredible amount of 19s already. Like, you guys are killing it already. You, Zosha, with your awesome roll, you spot one right around there. Another one that seems to have its short bow drawn. And a little bit further, somewhere around here, there's definitely another one. You didn't catch it with your eyes, but you heard it. But yes, Kami steps up and hands it more rations. And you see him kind of like take a step back as you're approaching, the spear still out, like with the hand, like puts the good berries on the ground. And as you're extending the rations, it points to the ground again. Down.
Is this custom that exchanges be made on the ground?
Yes.
I'm getting to know you, Get Jack. Where we do business, we hand them off.
Down.
Please.
The please especially seems to be like gets a negative response that you weren't expecting. Okay, you can go ahead. Are you gonna
get on the
hand it to him?
ground.
Okay, gotcha. Never mind. I was just making sure. But he snatches what's there as well as the berries, and you guys watch as he kind of like fumbles it into whatever bag or sack that he seems to kind of pull out from his side. And with the spear still up, you see him start to kind of like back away from the group slowly. But as he's going in Goblin, he looks towards Plek one more time. Staying with them?
Absolutely.
Don't think you'll last long.
Why don't you do some push-ups?
You're talking shit. But that seems to rankle a little bit. His face kind of twists up, but then you'll die in these woods. He kind of turns with the food and starts kind of backing up. And Mocha, you see the one that has been making eye contact with you pretty much the whole time, lower the short bow and start kind of backing off into the woods as well. And like you can track it well enough because also with the sun coming up, it's a little bit easier to see and hear. And Zosha, you're watching very clearly as the one that was about 30 feet away from you kind of stands and then starts walking back and away as well. But those of you with all the high perception checks notice that first, but the rest of you, it's easy enough to kind of see that they're kind of receding back into the forest. But not without keeping their eyes on each and every single one of you.
Safe travels, Get Jack, and company.
You're just sort of like soft grumbling as it backs up. Like continues down the main road basically, but just keeps its eyes on you the entire time. And sorry, go ahead.
I will pop out Simon again and say, "Don't worry, Simon. The danger has passed." And the huge snake appears in the in the road again, and she will pipe on and say, "Well, that was certainly informative. Does anyone want to ride?"
No, thanks. Also, you are way more patient than I think any of us are. Well done.
Kami is a very good influence.
I try not to judge before I know, especially people. They were not very friendly people, though. We have learned something about. We have learned that this place seems to be a little bereft of food. If they have to rob people in order to find it. Remind me, DM, last time that Zosha and I were here, before we got hit by a big meteor,
Right?
there was the forest wasn't sick. It
No,
wasn't
not at all.
barren. There was
Yeah.
scavenge around.
Yeah,
And that's definitely a change that has happened.
correct. You also aren't sure how far into the forest it originates, because you guys were kind of towards the outskirts, so it might be that that area is still fine and safe, and that you're just so deep in that this area is kind of where it's festering, and maybe it is spreading out. But wherever this is, and you know it's still the same forest, though, this area is not good.
Word. Does
And just,
anyone have,
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
does anyone have an idea of where we should go?
Well, we can try and track where that man came from, but if we weren't already on our guard, we should be, especially, and probably expect to come across that band again.
That was the bit of information I was going to share with the high history check as well as the goblin. Between being a traveler and also being a goblin, they are not known for making deals that weren't very obviously to their benefit. So this retreat might have been a just for now retreat. That the two of you would know of, at least. That is for Plek and Chrysanthemum.
Zosha would turn to Lanitana and go, you're the one who, experienced the calling for us to do whatever it is we're doing. That also feels unclear still, but I was just wondering if you seem very in tune with everything, actually, and so did you have any ideas?
We feel that we'll come across what we need to. As far as directions, one of you said you've been here before, correct?
Well, I mean, Kami and I were here in a version of this place, but it wasn't like this. And then the crystal fell on us, and then we were here. I think Chrysanthemum knows more.
I'm aware of this place, but I haven't delved even remotely into it outside of the outskirts. Like I said, we could just try to track wherever that man came from. There might be footprints left in the dirt or mud. Something to follow.
Yes, finding out what what they're doing would
We
be.
can follow the main road and follow after the goblins. She's words vibrate. Imagine I said that with more sarcasm. Because
Yep.
I meant to inflect
No, I
it
got
with more sarcasm, but
You're all set. But as you guys are all kind of taking a moment to think about this, where you should go next and where you might see these goblins again, I think we're gonna take our break because last time I took it way too late. So we're gonna take our break. We'll be back, running to the bathroom, grabbing drinks, whatever you might need to do. But thank you all for being here, and we will be back in just a little bit. So off we go to our break. Welcome back. We have just come back from our break. This group managed to defuse a goblin situation, in which case they sort of turned the situation back on itself. But we find them here in this space as all of the other goblins have retreated into the forest. So you guys have this moment to kind of figure out where else you might want to go. What just happened as both Mocha and, Chrysanthemum. Mocha's not in the forest, Chrysanthemum is, as well as Plek, kind of deduce that they might most likely not the last you'll see of them. If they didn't have such a wonderful crop from you guys, then they're probably not done bothering you, unfortunately. But for the moment, there's some peace in this decrepit forest. But you guys are free to do whatever you would like.
Do we know where to go?
Well, like I've been saying, we could just try tracking wherever that corpse came from. Otherwise, we have no clue.
I'm no good at tracking, but hopefully one of us is.
I think Kami will pat Simon on the side of the head and say, oh, right, Simon, that sort of looked like us. Like, Kami is not trained in, like, tracking or survival or anything like that. That was other people's jobs, like, in the tribe. But, like, together with Simon's help, like, she's not terrible at it. Like, like, she goes around and is sort of like, you see her, like, flick her tongue out, like, from her mouth, which you see, like, pretty often, but this time, like, she's very, like, intentionally tasting the air, like, right beside Simon as they, like, go around, like, in a circle, trying to, like, figure out where it, like, smells like the person that we encountered, the person's corpse. Let's see how good a survival check we can make.
Go for it. I will say it might be a little harder when you're not very close to the corpse, because when it was there, I don't know if you guys committed to memory in terms of scent. I'm not sure if anyone saw the corpse and just, so it might make it a little difficult, but you are more than welcome to try.
Yeah. And if not, like, being able to, like, stick with that scent, then just, like, general nature things, like, how is the moss growing here? Like, are mushrooms sort of, like, closer to that end of the forest? Like, where does, like, civilization usually, like, congregate around, and what type of plants are there? So, since I have Simon's help, do I get advantage on this roll?
Yeah, if the two of you are working together. You can either roll advantage, or he can roll one and you can roll one, whichever you prefer.
I'll say that Simon's helping me.
All right.
So survival.
All right.
Is
14 and 15. So, each of you watch as the two snakes go to work. Tongues flicking in the air, sort of winding their way around the area. You don't quite catch the same scent. However, one of the things that was on the corpse were the body parts of many other creatures. And death is a very common scent. So you might not need the specific person's scent that you were looking for, but instead, maybe their prey. And it's not wildly strong, but with the two of you focusing on it for probably like a minute or two of watching these two just kind of like circle around, trying to catch what they can on the breeze, you are getting sort of a faint. It's a little hard to tell, but it does still seem to be kind of northward, which is a little bit in the way that the goblins went, but they seem to have veered off a little bit, whereas you are likely going, whereas they went northwest, you're probably heading northeast.
That smells promising. Death to the north. We should follow. Yeah, Kami's gonna hop on, offer a ride to anybody that wants it.
Oh, I mean,
and,
Zosha jumps right on.
Oh my god, the giant snake.
We start heading northwards.
All right. Just making sure nobody else wants to do anything here before you all move along. Great. All right. So now the sun has risen, and thankfully, not that it was too bad, as all of you had dark vision, some various lengths. Everybody can see very clearly now, and it was supposed to be refreshing. The heat of the sun on you is still kind of refreshing, but you're starting to see just how strange this forest is. Not only does it seem to have progressed into fall, even though it probably isn't fall at the moment, the trees are looking like they're starting to dry out. If you had to describe it, as if there's no more water or humidity in the air, but you can still feel that there's humidity. It's not completely dry. They should be okay, but they're not. And not only that, but you're starting to see fungus a little more often as you are traveling through here. And at first it's sort of a mushroom here, a mushroom there, but then you're starting to see them sprout out of the trees. And sometimes out of what you swear are just rocks, which you're fairly certain is not possible. But you're seeing various kinds as well. They're not just the sort of mushroom cap, the typical one. But there are some that kind of fan out in like what seems to be sort of a network of fungus that covers probably like 4 or 5 feet of space every so often. And the further north you go, the more you're seeing of these. And like a nature's perspective, as a druid, you're probably seeing more than like 20 different kinds in this immediate area, which normally isn't all that weird, but considering everything else is dying, but this fungus is kind of being a little more plentiful than it should be, it does strike you as odd.
Word. So, question.
Sure.
Does Kami know? We're in a very stressful situation, and Kami has not stocked up on hallucinogenics.
Uh-huh.
Can any of these make a good tea?
Oh, all right. Give me a nature check.
I was gonna say Chrysanthemum would absolutely be like. I imagine the party is moving slow enough because we're keeping an eye out that she would be able to pause for like a second and just start shucking off mushrooms along the way. Yeah, she's just collecting. She's just loading up.
Okay. Now, are you like everyone that you see? Essentially, you're getting a sample, or is it like are there very specific ones that she's like, I know what this is, or even this looks pretty. I will take this one.
I think it's samples of any that she doesn't know, and then the rest, if she knows and she knows she can use them in something, or they have value. Like even if she can't use them, they're like, okay, this is rare, and someone else can use them. Then she will. Definitely start just like collecting.
Gotcha. All right. So you're collecting and you have the nature. I assume you were doing it on your own. Actually, I don't know if I said you were doing it with anyone else. So unless you have a reason to have advantage, I guess I'll keep the 8.
Like, I did it, but then I'm thinking. The only way that I'm thinking it could work is like maybe Simon's helping me because Simon is my seeing eye animal.
Simon is your seeing eye animal, but he doesn't know mushrooms very well. his
That's fair.
his
That's fair.
yeah, his intelligence is not that high, really. I mean, Snake is mushroom. This mushroom good, this mushroom bad. So unfortunately, I will keep the 8
That's
for this
it.
situation. But you're not quite seeing any that you're familiar with, and even some that you expected to see, you're not catching. Most of them are things they might be new to you, which is very surprising. And as that's happening, you're looking at one particular that does seem to have the typical sort of mushroom cap on top of it, and it seems yellow with purple spots, which is an unusual color combination for any kind of living creature. It normally means stay away if they're bright colored or something like that, but you're just kind of curious about it, so you're just sort of like staring at it, and you're like, this definitely wouldn't make for a good tea. And just staring at it as well, you're like, okay, these kinds of mushrooms also tend to have a lot of spores that just really come out at the like slightest little breeze. And as you're thinking that, Chrysanthemum is in the back harvesting one of these, and you watch as like a just plume of orange comes out from the slight movement that she made. Chrysanthemum, I will need a Constitution saving throw from you, as in harvesting this. And being the master harvester that you are extremely careful. It seemed like this was like a hair trigger, and you were not expecting it at all. So it kind of douses the area that you're in. But go ahead and give me that saving throw for me.
Okay.
Please and thank you.
16.
Nice. All right. So as this comes out, like you kind of instinctively hold your breath and pull away because you're like, that wasn't supposed to happen. It does kind of coat your clothing a little bit, like your feet, your boots, and like probably like up to your knee a little bit. In just orange spores that even as you're kind of like brushing them away, they don't seem to go away, interestingly enough. And as they're sticking to you, it almost reminds you of how that toxin stuck to those darts that you found. It just doesn't seem to let go.
Can
And
I
thankfully,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I try and prestidigitate it to like flush it off magically?
Sure, yeah. This is sort of a test of your magic ability, so you can give me an intelligence check, which is your modifier for it, just to see how well you do the job. Nice.
14.
Okay. Yeah. So as you're pulling it off, it strangely seems to resist you, which is the weirdest feeling you've had. With like prestidigitation, usually just works. You can just pull it right off of you. But you almost see it like peeling off like those adhesive stickers on like mail or something, where like each part of it is sticking on for dear life before you get to peel it off fully. But you are able to kind of like detach it from yourself. Strangely, it almost felt like it was fighting you the whole time.
If it's pulling off in that way, with my gloves, I'm going to roll it up. I'm going to do with what I do with the mail glue, and I'm going to roll it up into a ball. And I'm going to take that with me.
That's awesome. All right, sounds good.
She's unfazed by this, but she will, I'm being careless, and put on like a little face mask after the fact, and once she has like scraped that like ball of pollen schmuck into some sort of like container or pouch.
Mm-hmm. So for where we're at on the road right now, can I jump off and do like some hardcore investigating to see if like anyone's been through here or is kind of nearby based on everything I've learned from Kami forever and like those kinds of things, because I want to kind of see, are we headed in the right direction? Is there something close?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say you could either use investigation or survival, whichever you prefer.
Oh, absolutely investigation.
Yeah, the wizard.
Well,
the 19s of,
you win some, you lose some. That's an 11.
That's how it goes. Interestingly enough, just kind of focusing on the road, a part of you is trying to look for tracks and like a trail maybe of some kind or any other sign of civilization of some sort. And you there are tracks here for sure. You don't know what they are or where they go or what they mean. A lot of them are kind of muddled, whether it be from stomped on fungus that has just kind of spread out in the area, perhaps larger creatures that came by some time ago and haven't been back. You're not sure. But what you do kind of make out, which you're a little surprised about, is you pick up what seems to be like a paving stone of some kind, as if maybe there was a cobblestone road, or maybe even some part of a building. You're not entirely sure what, but it's certainly man-made in its shape. It's not an organic shape, and it probably fit in with other stones. And it does kind of seem to be out on its own out here. But if you're looking for civilization, strangely enough, this is kind of a hint. Something out here must have used this.
Look, this is man-made. Just points for everyone to see.
Chrysanthemum will remove herself from the mushroom collecting and scuttle over to look.
And you do, in fact, see... actually, you can give me an investigation as well, if you're trying to... Investigation or history?
Okay. They're the same for me, but
Okay.
we'll say investigation, because I was going to say she was... I was going to add to that she would, like, examine that and then try to, like, look further for more.
Mm-hmm.
18.
All right. But in seeing that stone, while I remember everyone's name, Zosha was able to see that it was man-made. She wasn't sure where exactly it fit, but in you looking at it, you're like, oh, this is probably part of an arch of some kind, one that kind of needs that keystone and however that might have formed. It doesn't look badly damaged. Instead, maybe someone took it, strangely enough. But it's out here, and it doesn't belong out here. And nearest town probably doesn't have anything like that, as it would likely be something made, a town mostly made of wood and of the environment that it's in, which is the forest. Seeing this kind of stone makes it feel like maybe a temple, or maybe a place of prayer, a shrine, something that needed a lot more time and dedication to create. Maybe something like that's out here.
The stones. She will, given Zoisha's like kind of curiosity and like having noted that she'll like note stuff down, she will turn back to her and kind of show her the rock. If you see the curvature here, that's how you can tell it was part of an arch or something like that. It was purposely carved.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
Sorry, I have something in my eye. This fucking spores, I swear to God.
There you go.
Okay, good. Okay, helpful. Thank you. I'm writing that down.
This probably means somewhere around here, if we can find other stones, there's probably an arch or some kind of carefully crafted structure. It takes a lot of effort to carve stone versus just building something out of wood.
Is there any arcane properties with this stuff? Do you think?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is probably just a rock. But I will. But just to cover bases, give me a moment, and I will ritual cast detect magic.
Okay, gotcha. So that'll take you about 10 minutes. So I'll kind of leave you there to do your cast for 10
just
minutes.
sitting and holding this rock, like
Zosha!
in her head, she's like, "This is absolutely just a rock."
Zosha's like watching, very interested, just like waiting,
Just staring.
looming.
The rest of you have 10 minutes while your teammate is casting and the other is staring at her. If there's anything you want to do in this space, you have a bit of time.
Plek is just going to continue to do his little rounds, make sure nothing's sneaking up on us.
All right, you know what to give me, then.
Can I have can I have I already forgot what I was saying. Can I have Boingo help him?
Yeah, actually,
Forgot
yeah,
my cat's
absolutely.
name.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, Boingo. the
Bingo,
cat,
bongo,
absolutely.
boingo.
Yep. Bingo, bongo, the drums.
Blep.
Roll that again. See if you get a little higher. We're nat 20.
That is, you get to roll again.
I was just turning on my 3D dice feature. Sure. Give me a second. And it's perception again.
Cat Boingo's.
Oh, hey, it was. It
Ah.
was. Heck.
Yo,
you.
you
It's
fucking
very
made
helpful.
it. Yeah, it was.
Awesome.
As you're also traveling through this, something I forgot to mention, but obviously you guys are seeing that high amount of fungus that should not be around here. But you're starting to notice some of the grass is starting to turn yellow. And it's not a sort of like dry, dying out in the sun kind of yellow. Instead, it feels as if it's still just as healthy as regular grass. It's just bright yellow for some reason. And in some cases, kind of like an orangey gold. But as Plek is looking around as the detect magic ritual is happening, and you're just trying to make sure everything is okay, a cat kind of curls around your legs for just a moment and then seems to be staring out with you. And you kind of instinctually follow the cat's eyes, who maybe saw it, maybe didn't. But when you look up as well, you faintly see the silhouette, which is strange because it is sunny. It is bright. At this point, it's probably like not getting closer to noon. Not quite noon yet, but sun's on its way up to its highest peak. It's bright right now. But you see the silhouette of a humanoid figure, relatively tall and sort of half covered by a tree. And what you could make out is it seems to be lots of furs around the shoulders, as well as kind of around the hips and the legs, and something kind of drapes off the back of it, almost like a tail. But it does seem very humanoid. And the top of it, which you're able to make out in the sort of gleam of the sun, while the rest of the body seems to be lost in shadow, is a skull of some kind. And at first you're trying to find out what it is, but the antlers kind of give it away. That it was likely some kind of deer, perhaps, maybe elk. It's a little hard to make out from the distance, but a person stands probably 200 or so feet away with this mask on, just kind of standing beside the tree and staring at you.
Just doing like a Slender Man creep impression. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be any hesitation in the body, even as you two make eye contact. Just continues to stare.
He knows I see him, so he'll announce the party. We have company.
Oh, again, wonderful. God, for a dangerous forest, this is awfully populated.
Who's our company?
He'll just kind of point the spear in the direction of our creeper.
Can I look in the direction of our creeper and see
You
what
are allowed to look in the direction of your
and
creeper.
see what I glean from said creeper? So perception, I presume.
Yep.
This is.
If you're just trying to get, like, are you trying to kind of find out what they're wearing, or is it more like to find out what their body language is about? Like, let me know what you're looking for at the moment.
I think maybe body language.
Okay. For that, I'll say insight.
Okay.
Oh shit! Julio, awesome. All right, so
I know everything about this person.
I can tell you what their name is just by looking at them. No,
my
but
friend
in
Bob.
staring, it takes you a moment, but and there's nothing that really kind of alludes to it. It's more just kind of the way the muscles and the figure stands that you're able to kind of register. That's a female. She is absolutely covered in furs and leathers of some kind. You can't really make out a lot of the body, but she seems to be very strong beneath whatever clothing, which seems to all be of natural materials she is wearing. And not only that, as she stares, it's very confident. It's not a I'm stealthing and I don't want you to see me. It's I'm simply standing here and watching you.
Oh, I mean, she is very confident, and isn't even trying to hide. So, hi.
Yeah. Have we? We have learned nothing. Can I glance out at this woman? Does her attire seem to feel familiar to the kind of hodgepodge clothes? There we go. That the corpse had.
Elements of it remind you of it. It's not a certain not a 1-to-1. There wasn't the boots don't match, the pants don't match kind of situation. But he was wearing very natural clothing that got sort of damaged from wear and tear of running around a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Hers isn't all that different in terms of the materials, but the shape and quality probably a little bit better.
Okay.
You are a bit far away, but that's what you're able to kind of glean from the shape.
Yeah. Chrysanthemum will quickly roll up to Zoisha and yank her arm down. We don't know if that person wants to kill us. Should probably wait to see what their intent is before we announce ourselves.
Well, I mean, she
As
just is very.
prominently.
I mean, she's just really clearly looking at us, so it kind of just felt
Do
better
many
to...
people kill you just on the regular day?
No.
You've been very...
But you never know.
You've been very...
As you're responding...
We're also in the middle of a deadly forest.
As you're... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And so far, 0 out of the 2 encounters we've had, people have wanted to kill us. Rob us, yes. Eat the
I do
dead?
believe the spider wanted to kill us and eat us.
Oh, I thought the spider was more interested in the corpse. But, very well. That is a fair point. I'm not sure they can kill and eat us from all the way over there, though.
We should be cautious. If they are the same as the corpse, they don't want to eat us, but they do want to fight.
And erupting from Chrysanthemum's side, you hear a voice. That is true. I do want to kill you. And the figure doesn't seem to be moving, but the voice is coming from where you just rolled up some fungus goo in your pocket.
I will pull out the fungus goo and just hold it and look at it and look almost really towards the woman. Thank you for proving my point.
That is my mistake, Chrysanthemum. You were right. And I will go up to Simon and revert Simon into a staff. And also take out a shield. You see a very small circular shield that has been in the bottom of Kami's pack that even Zosia hasn't seen in a very long time, and just affixes it to the arm, and it's just looking around, one hand with a staff, and just not getting ready to fight, though doesn't look very threatening.
I think Liontown's gonna walk toward that figure.
As you're coming closer, and after the voice had kind of spoken, underneath that half mask, you're starting to see a grin start to curl across her lips. And it seems to be the only thing that catches the light as you see her teeth, which all seem to be sharpened, even though she is humanoid. Instead, they're almost sharpened like individual little shark teeth instead. But as you're walking, the bundle of spores continues to talk, and as Chrysanthemum's holding it and was doing the like, really, you're seeing it sort of pulse with light with almost every syllable that comes out, and this kind of staccato, almost savage-sounding voice just continues. Not now. You need just. If we fight, it will be fair. Unless you would like a taste now, I would be happy to share.
No, I think we're good. But thank you. She like shakes. Not that it's gonna do anything, but she like rattles it.
Take that!
Yeah.
Black will try to catch up with Lonnie just to make sure he's minimum 30 feet away.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Tommy's
Lanitana. Oh, sorry. Okay. Lanitana, you. It was about 200 feet away. How close or how much do you think you would be advancing?
Advancing close enough that within 50 feet.
Okay. She does not move. But you see the grin does not falter at any point in time. She simply stares at you as you get closer.
What are you doing here?
My job.
Oh, remind me what the god was that we
Malar.
follower of Malar.
Champion of Malar.
Then I give you this warning: leave and never bother us. Never bother anyone here.
I'm not sure you know how this works.
I think I do.
You were called upon, I assume, by a dying, weak entity. And as she dies, so shall you. A last attempt to keep herself from dying, I think. But she will not succeed, and neither will you. I appreciate your strong words, though. I can't wait to fight you.
Waiting until the light god dies and then fight.
Not quite. I see things that are happening more than just here. You are now our new hunt. You'll see some of my friends, I think, soon. And the rest have scattered, as they should. And the strongest survive. But much as that puny friend who called you here is fighting for her life, you will be fighting for yours soon. Fights all around. Hunts all around. Victors will be standing tall. I'm quite sure that won't be you.
Nighthunter will gesture around. You did this. Your fellow disciples
Partially.
did this.
Yes. Does that upset you?
Yes.
Good. We'll make you fight better. I will make sure I do more things to upset you.
You should worry about your soul. Because you'll be finding out where it will go if you keep this up.
I am a champion. after my life has expired and I die in glorious battle, Malar will simply pluck me. Perhaps grant me a new life, but in either way, I will be his. This is wonderful for me.
Then we'll find out, won't we?
We shall. I will only fight you when you are ready. My disciples and those who run with Malar, not so much. They'll fight you and make sure they are well known before they attack. And you may have warning before they first strike. But I will fight you at full strength. And only at full strength. I want to see every part of you expended before you die.
We do not fear death, but we will stop you. Full strength or not.
I do fear death, actually. That is one of my fears. Top 3, actually. Hi, we have gotten on the wrong foot. Kami, what is your name?
Kami. We have gotten off on the correct foot, I believe. I, however, am Kausvena. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Does Kami recognize that name at all?
No, not at all.
It is a shame that it is your job to kill us. I don't know who would pay you for that, but I doubt the people around me, and I certainly will not go down without a fight. Wouldn't it be a lot more pleasant to sit down, have some tea?
Oh, you're one of those that just sit and enjoy the peace and think that for some reason nature is not gory and disgusting and brutal. But it is. The strongest survive and we will fight, and that's how it will happen. And you can enjoy your tea in the little bit of life you have left. That's not always how nature works.
You're wrong.
Am I?
The strong might survive, but it's what the strong decide to do with their survival that matters. They can decide to protect and to help the ones that are weaker, and that's what the strong should do. You're shitty if you don't.
Then
Big surprise! I'm getting that vibe.
her head just kind of tilts back towards Kami. But you, because of your outright disappointment and boring outlook on what we both covet, I'll make sure I kill you first. In honor.
You won't.
This zealot bores me. Let's leave. Kami is going to turn and walk away.
Sounds good.
Zosha's gonna do the walking backwards thing, like to stay with Kami, but to keep an eye on Kausvena.
Sounds good. She simply stays and stares. Netters, were you going to say something?
Yeah, Bleck was gonna say in Kami's mind as she's leaving, I don't think we're teeing our way into that one. How good are you with that shield? Do you need practice? I can help you.
Yeah, and Kami's gonna like mind wave back. I know. It's a shame. Some people just can't appreciate the draw of a good tea. And will acquiesce to that like training with the shield, because Kami doesn't know how to use that thing. And is like, yeah, I would appreciate the help, Black. Thank you.
We settle down. Do some drills.
Zosha will send a quick message to Chrysanthemum. So, what are you feeling about this situation?
Frankly, how do I word this? Some might call Lanitana and Kami's audacity enviable. I wouldn't. I just want to get out of here and I want to get whatever we were sent here done. And I want to get out of here. And I don't think antagonizing apparent champions of a god is the way to go.
Noted.
That's where I stand.
Thanks.
And as that conversation is happening, she's still standing and motionlessly staring at all of you, even as sort of Kami was backing up and like those small conversations were happening. But you get the idea that she probably won't move while eyes are on her. Or that she's just having a good time watching you.
What do you want from us in this moment? Why are you even here right now if you don't want to fight us in this moment?
It's to scare us.
To watch.
Okay. Great.
You stalk your prey before you kill it.
How sad it will be to find out that you are the prey.
If so, what a glorious death it will be. Carry on.
You really just want us to keep on moving. Like we didn't just talk to you.
What did I just say in your head about champions?
I mean, but I do find their forthrightness enviable, so I'm going with it.
Okay. She just like and just kind of like starts like, with where people are walking. She's like, all right, I gave my wise and or her perceived wise and advice. It is not received. She's like, I've done what I can here.
I'll see myself out.
Zosha's
with everyone else that's walking.
Zosha's gonna kind of try and like look at everyone else who's in the party and be like, I mean, we've been looking for information. It feels like the least we can do is get more information in this moment. Because clearly this person seems to be the spider dancing in the middle of the web, plucking all the strings and making them bounce.
I don't
But
disagree.
maybe I'm wrong.
They
Fleck,
may
Ask
do
very
your
you
well.
have
questions.
any ideas? Anyone with questions, who knows?
Fleck will step forward and. Are you hunting gods? Is that the point of this? Is this some kind of test?
Not me. Egbert does hunting as well.
If you're worried about the strongest, why not challenge champions of cities? Why not go for the big fish instead of wanderers in a forest?
Alar must strengthen himself. As you kill, you get stronger. So, kill those who also call upon his strengths makes him stronger. And first, we targeted those followers. 3 dead now, I believe. 2 more to go.
Where are these other 2 so that we may bolster their strength, make it more of a fight for you?
That is, if you leave this forest. 1 is quite some distance. When we finish here, we will be traveling for weeks.
Why here? Why this forest? Why?
The way of the deities and the entities up above, whatever plane they follow, often they have similar traits. If you narrow those who follow the same trait, one gets stronger. So, we came here to take care of the followers of a goddess.
So that you and your deity could get stronger.
Correct. He fights her now. She is likely the one who called you for help.
And are you just siphoning the life out of all of these trees and just everything?
Something like that. I see he believes hunt is important. But nature holds devious ways. And fungus is very resilient, grows fast, can be manipulated, and has networks of its own. It's very handy.
How many of you and your little pals are around here?
Little. We have plenty.
That's not a number.
It's not.
I would
But-
like one.
They'll make themselves known, and then you can use what's left of your fingers to count them.
That sounds like someone who might have like 1 or 2 others, but just wants us to be really afraid.
She just grins.
You said you want a good fight.
Yes.
Do you have any advice?
Fight your hardest. As if you will die.
Isn't that how like you have to enter into every fight?
That's how
It's
I
not
do
like it's not like unique or helpful.
it. No.
Okay, so like you don't actually want to help. Got it. Yeah, you just hoping we're a fun fight. You don't want to like guarantee it. I just making sure. She pulls out her notebook.
You are for sport.
Got it. I I don't know what else to ask. Zosha will turn to everybody else.
Yeah, you turn around and Kami stopped walking away and like walked back up to like be right behind you. And
She goes, ah! And then it's like, oh, it's just you.
like Kami says, you know how I like a good arachnid metaphor.
I do.
Though I don't think they intend to help us.
No.
I'm here behind you. Is there anything else you need?
I want to know what Lani Tana thinks of all of this. Really? Lani Tana?
Lanita does not like look in the direction, eyes straight ahead at the. Yes. What?
How are you feeling about things right now? You really initiated this conversation, so
If you don't wish to be part of this, you don't have to.
what does that mean?
Are you going to attack her now?
Lanita say out loud. Your rationalizing for your cruel god has been found wanting. I find no reason why we should stop now. If you want to do what you want, we will stop you. Light will prevail. We will not have this happen again, and they will cast Sacred Flame on that spot.
All right, let me get you guys up on a map real quick. As this happens, we can roll initiative. I'm gonna say we should probably stop here, even though it's a little early, just so that we can start with the fight, because we'll have 30 minutes to fight before we run out of time. So everybody do me a favor and roll me initiative. I am going to show you guys what you were staring at. Oh, I just pasted you guys back on. You have doubles! And probably soon to be triples, because I think I accidentally hit that twice.
I just want to point out that it was the cleric, not the fighter, who started this.
You're in the middle. You're in the middle of God stuff. This is
correct.
No, you're perfectly justified.
It's
the circumstances.
This is who you were speaking with at the moment.
yeah.
She's hot. Sorry. Anyway.
Yo, a fucking 20 initiative for starters. Good start. Let me get my shit up. She's not wildly.
Oh, you also. Have, remember you have advantage on that.
Yeah, Anita, you have advantage.
Oh God.
Wait, I have 19 and.
That's late. That's late. I'm sorry. I thought that was
okay. 19. Okay. I have advantage
nice.
on.
All right. Gonna have her roll as well. 19 as well. I will have her roll her saving throw while we're here, just to see if you land, because you're starting it off and she wasn't moving. So you go ahead and roll your damage for your Sacred Flame.
Okay.
And then
there you are. Oh,
yo, that
right.
was like
Yeah.
good damage roll though, like for real.
Cat got an 18 and on initiative.
Okay, very important. Thank you.
Unless you wanted to do the rule of just going immediately after, but.
Oof.
Yeah, she but like even though she was standing perfectly still, as your Sacred Flame goes off, you almost see kind of like an echo of herself in that spot where she was, and instead you see her on the opposite side of the tree. And with one hand she extends it, and you watch as bone claws seem to pull out from her wrist itself and kind of overlap her own fingers and extend probably another like 4 or 5 feet almost in a way, but in terms of like a shadowy essence that floats behind it. The physical claws seem to end at around 8 inches or so, but there's a little bit of like vapor that follows each one of them. And she extends the other hand, which also seems to just kind of turn into claws. And you swear some of the fur from her shoulder starts to extend up her neck and along the sides of her back, and she just kind of hunkers down. Let's play. And with everybody rolling initiative, we will start this combat next time. Lanitana's not here to take some shit. Was it Anita? Were you going to say anything?
Nah. It was just that's wild how we're saying we all of a sudden. I don't speak French. I don't.
Was me.
And also, this villain is giving like Lady Dimitrescu like extending like claws, and it's just making her hotter.
It's always
Yeah,
the evil one. The ones are
She's
super
pretty
hot.
hot. Yeah.
This is who you're fighting. But we will pick this up next time, just because the time of night does not make sense for us to start the combat now. Thank you all for being here. We'll just run through our like introductions again, because I realized I didn't give people the chance to kind of close off and say goodnight before. So again, I'm Fuzka. You can find me at Fuzka on Twitch. I'll pass it off to Lynn as we say our goodbyes.
Hey, I'm Lynn. Gremlin art pretty much everywhere on socials, and you can find my art and what I'm doing throughout the week. So yeah, thank you very much. Pass to Anita.
Hey everybody, Anita here. Yeah, I am at Anita the Lesbian on Twitter and on TikTok. You can find me doing stuff. Like, you'll find like when I'm on streams in the future on my Twitter, so you can follow me there. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. I will toss it to oh gosh, who am I gonna toss it to? I'm really horrible at making decisions. Like, no,
I got
am
you, I'll
tossing
go.
it to Kristen. Go.
Got it. Hi, Kristen House, she, her. You can follow me on Twitch as Kristen House. I'll be streaming again more frequently soon. And then also Twitter, Kristen_House. That's where I post stuff that I'm up to. Don't worry, Anita, I got you. Passing it off to Mocha.
Hi, I'm Mocha. You can find me on socials at MochaCutie_ on Twitter, and just MochaCutie pretty much everywhere else. That is MoChaQT. I do illustration, mostly TTRPG and D&D illustration, so come look at my work. And I post about when I'm on streams and charity streams and all that good stuff too. So yeah, but I believe last is Nenners.
Yeah, I'm Netters. You can find me actually at the Fuzka Twitch thing as well. I DM and I'm a victim in one of her other campaigns. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys.
Listen, Netters, how dare you? Anyway, we'll be picking up with this. Just a reminder, tomorrow's Harsh Realms on Girls Run These Worlds at 6 p.m. Raid, Exquisite Corpse for Divine Intervention. DK from Regency Remixed are there, actually. So we're going to be heading over there now. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next week with some combat. Fighting the name of this whole fucking campaign.
Oh, boy.
Kausvena. But,
Clark just pulled the
see you
BB.
later.